In the 5th chapter of John, Jesus goes to the pool of Bethsaida in Jerusalem, and he approaches a man who has been an invalid for 38 years. An invalid is one who has some sort of severe illness where they're just incapable of taking care of themselves anymore. And so this man's been lying by this pool, and this pool is known to be like a healing pool. The waters stir up, and when you go in the waters, apparently you could experience physical healing. So many people would go to this pool. It says in the gospel that it attracted the lame, the blind, and the paralyzed, the paralytics. So this man was probably a paralytic, and Jesus approaches this man and says to him, "Do you want to be healed? Do you want to be healed?" And the man's frustrated, right? He's discouraged. He's been trying to get in the pool, and he explains to Jesus, I have no one to bring me into the pool, and when I try to go, people go ahead of me. Do you ever have this experience of being frustrated? Frustrated with maybe different parts of your life, maybe physical ailments, maybe worries, maybe struggles, maybe difficulties, maybe addictions, and you're saying, I wish I could get the help that I need to get through this situation, to be healed of this problem. People seem to be going ahead of me. People seem to be getting healed ahead of me. But Lord, I haven't experienced healing, and it's been years. That's just where Jesus wants to meet you. He wants to meet you in that poverty. One of my favorite passages from Scripture is the woman with the hemorrhage. She's so bold. She's such an awesome woman. She has this hemorrhage, this bleeding, internal bleeding, for 12 years, and to have a hemorrhage, to be bleeding, was to be ritually unclean in the Jewish tradition, and so there was a sense of in a sense, quote unquote, dirtiness about it, and she wouldn't be able to attend some of the synagogue rituals and such, and she went to doctors, and nothing was happening, and she couldn't be healed. But she says, you know what, if I touch the hem of Jesus's cloak, maybe I'll be healed. And she comes with tremendous faith, and she approaches the Lord, and she's in this big crowd, and she reaches out, and Jesus senses power coming out of him, and Jesus says, who touched me? And she admits it was her, and Jesus says, because of your faith, you've been healed. We need to approach the Lord in boldness where we are, and take the extra step. Yeah, it might be uncomfortable to reach out right now in faith. Lord, I might feel like I have nothing. I feel like I'm reaching out to you in the place of my own poverty. That's where the Lord wants to meet us. He wants to meet us like the man who was lying by the pool of Bethsaida. He wants to meet us in our brokenness, and he wants to love us in those places. Another passage I love is the man with the withered hand. He's healed in the synagogue, but Jesus says to the man, stretch forth your hand. Now the man might have had shame regarding his withered hand, and that's why he kept it in his cloak. He didn't want people to see his hand. But Jesus says, stretch it out. And he stretches out his hand, and his hand is healed. There's this beautiful thing about bringing those places that we want to keep hidden from the Lord, those places where maybe we feel hopeless, and we feel like, I just can't bring this to the Lord anymore because I just want to give up, or the Lord won't understand. Those are the exact places the Lord wants you to bring to him, and he wants to heal those places. Do you want to be healed by Jesus? I just encourage you to go to the Lord with confidence and say, Jesus, this is where I'm at, and let him break into your life. Amen.